The Browns have reportedly hired Tommy Rees as their tight ends coach, Duce Staley as a running back coach. I have thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on those two?
I've heard a lot of good things about Duce Staley as a leader, as a guy that people like to get behind. Everybody looks good with Nick Chubb. We know next year, we don't know when Chubb will be available and how much he'll be available. And so, everybody loves Stump Mitchell, but the reality is we don't all know what a running back coach does. But Jerome Ford really didn't take that step forward. Kareem Hunt has seemed to look like he's kind of lost a step. I believe Stump said that in an interview with somebody as well after he was fired. And so the Browns needed somebody different, and Duce Staley is really respected. At some level, it's similar to bringing in a kind of a Jim Schwartz and a Bubba Ventrone. You want guys that people want to play for. And so if there's a running back in free agency that they're looking at, Duce Staley is a recruiter, is somebody people want to play with. Tommy Rees is someone who I wouldn't say I know a lot about. Matt Warren on the site, Matt Wilson on our site, kind of looked at what his offensive looked like at Notre Dame and Alabama. But I think it's great to see someone who is in two really high profile positions at the college level be willing to come in as a tight ends coach, right? And so getting a young guy, 30 some years old, to come in and be a tight ends coach and really see kind of what he has and what he can bring to the NFL level. I think the willingness to be that humble and not just try to find another OC job at college, I think that bodes well for him and his learning kind of curve, because Njoku had a very good year, but the Browns have not gotten a ton out of their tight end positions besides him.
Yeah, I think, again, he was an offensive coordinator and a play caller at Alabama and Notre Dame. I think Kevin Stefanski said, this is a young guy with some bright ideas. Let's get him in. He fits in as the tight ends coach because that's what we have an opening for. But you can be sure they're going to be picking his mind because his offenses in both places had some motion and those kind of things that they're trying to incorporate.
Yeah, and it could be something where, depending on who the offensive coordinator is, that he takes some of the quarterback coach role and, some of those kind of things as well as a former college quarterback coach and obviously as an OC. Listen, if Brian Kelly and Nick Saban think you are good enough to run their offenses, you might not be great, but there is something there, right? Those are two guys that you trust when it comes to coaches in general. Saban has had a long history of bringing in coaches and then they go on to be great offensive coaches or head coaches someplace else. So you really look at that pedigree and go, there's something there for him to have those two positions. So, you have to have some excitement for that.